दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೇ ಚೆನ್ನೈ
Hyderabad Punjab Express Varanasi Station Netaji Bhavan. कृपया ध्यान दें.
Welcome back to Voltas presents Cricbuzz Live. That was one eventful event because CSK started. It felt like they were out of breath. They lost a few wickets. Sam Curran got that oxygen cylinder on. He put on a blinder to get CSK to 190. But then there was a twist to the tale because Yuzvendra Chahal's got the first hat-trick of this IPL. He's picked up 4 wickets in his 3 overs, given away 32. CSK getting 190, Sam Curran getting 88, and we are back with Polly and Gilly. Should we applaud first for Sam Curran and Polly because 187 was...
Yes, 187.
Give you that. Take it.
GK, I have to tell you that he gets 187. That is what the score is, and that's what we'll stick to.
Yeah, of course.
And not see the prediction game. But that was one eventful innings. It was just so good to see Sam Curran do what he did today.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be more of the same for CSK, didn't we, after that start in the Combox? We were talking about, oh, they've got a partnership, but it hasn't fired. Well, he did. He managed to get going. His highest score in RPL matches. He'll just be disappointed he didn't go and get the 3-figure because he was looking so set for it. And then I suppose we left wondering with that hat-trick,
Yes.
what happened to Chahal's 4th over? Like we were thinking at one stage, how can you keep him out? We understood they were keeping him for Dhoni. But yeah, we all love Chahal, and we love the little celebration as well. After
Yeah,
got
he did his little pose. Sam Curran did a call to, we don't know who it was, but Sam Curran pulled off a Gilly. He walked when he was on 88. Well done,
did.
Gilly.
Yeah,
You set those standards high for cricketers.
Well, Josh Inglis was confident behind the stumps, as he was earlier when he reviewed and successfully reviewed. But
Marco Jansen didn't have a clue.
no, so it's pretty loud sort of venue, isn't it? But yeah, tremendous innings, no doubt about it. I just wonder if we might scrutinise it a bit more. They've missed a trick there, Chennai, I think, at the end. They had 2 overs of field restrictions at the extra fielder having to be up due to slow over rate, and they only faced 8 deliveries out of those possible 12, and a lot of them were dot balls by virtue of being wickets. So yeah, that's a big swing back, and it looks like the pitch is held together well. So interesting chase coming up. But Curran, brilliant. He breathed life into it, as you say, put the oxygen into that innings, and he did it in a manner. Maybe that was to the owners of Punjab. Where was the call for retention?
Probably. That's a good one, Gilly. But we're talking about CSK, how they started off slowly. Again, the openers not firing. Once again, that power play not going their way. 48 for 3 in the power play. And then they kind of steadied the ship with that partnership between Sam Curran and Brevis. But they would have liked to finish things off. But 6 wickets, Polly, at the death. Are they going to go back a happy team in that dugout?
Yeah, it's not ideal. You also do wonder, you know, those young guys at the top of the order. I mean, Gilly would have been in plenty of team talks over the years. And it's the young guys, if you kind of say something or give an instruction or hint along a certain lines that, oh, we need to take more responsibility. It's the young guys who kind of say, oh, well, I better be a little bit more circumspect. Whereas the senior players will, okay, yeah, we understand where you're coming at, but I'm going to kind of play my own game if I get the opportunity. Because they didn't really go that hard, did they, until they ended up getting out. But the 6 wickets at the end, and I agree with Gilly, there's no adaptability. I mean, surely when you look around with only 4 fielders being out, especially against Chahal, you must think, well, there's a big spot somewhere that I can try and target that area where they get inside and try and just pop it over the infield. So they missed a trick. I think Dhoni might have been caught up in the matchup. We know the history of how many times and why he was being saved for him. And he just tried to execute maximums. But yeah, 56 for 6 isn't ideal when eventually they actually did lay a platform for those guys to come in and smash.
Well, Gilly, CSK was looking all set for that 200-plus score. We chatted about it in the Combox, Polly and me, where they looked like they were set for a big score, and then this crumble. So when you go into the dugout halfway, are you going in confident because you've got 190, or are you going in saying, oh, we are a bit short on this track?
I think given the history of the tournament of this year for them, they probably would have said at the start of that innings, yeah, we'll take 190, given that we've been a bit fragile with our batting. So, yeah, 50-50, I think the feeling for them but they definitely missed an opportunity. They should have been over 200 and a bit more momentum going their way. I thought maybe Shreyas Iyer allowed them by not bringing Chahal back earlier, and even he got a bit spooked by maybe Bra just dropped a couple short and got punished. So that was this phase, a couple of overs from the spinners early in the innings, or when they were introduced, that just gave the momentum to the CSK batting, and that's where they got going, and then obviously Curran took on the responsibility, and we've been speaking the last few nights about a player needing in that top 3 or 4 to get to 80.
Wasn't he your player to watch out for? Sam
He was
Curran.
mine, I think.
Oh, yours.
Yeah.
Well done,
Yes.
Gilly. You called it.
He had a determined look. Something was driving him tonight, and it'll be really interesting to see what he's like out in the field and how animated he is when he's bowling, and if they get a wicket or two. So it feels like there's a little bit of spice in this one, and that'll be fun to watch.
Well, it must have been when we were sitting in the green room, when Shedgar came in for his over that disappeared, we did get the feeling that this was the over, that they were going to try and pull the trigger, and that was clever batting because he didn't know what kind of bowling he was going to get after that, and he made it pay. What was 26 off that over, and that was really the moment where whatever was 170, whatever it may be, was looking then more like over 200.
You talk about clever batting. He's really batted very cleverly today. When you look at how he manipulated the field today, Sam Curran, a lot on that leg side, 4 sixes, 9 fours. And like you said, he looked very determined, Gilly, because he's played for CSK before and now for Punjab. So he knows the angles of this ground very well.
Yeah, he certainly does. I think maybe the other teams might look at that and say we've got to get maybe our line, try to get him hitting through the offside a little bit. Maybe they got a bit straight, and he does, like most left-handers, sort of get it to the leg side through mid-wicket reasonably naturally. But no, it was a fine innings. It was the type of innings that CSK have been missing throughout the season.
Well, like you said, they've missed this throughout the season. He comes in. We know that they really need to get this win in because 5 losses at CSK has never happened. So it's come at the perfect time for Sam Curran.
Yeah, they've given themselves a chance, haven't they? The talk was maybe it was only be like a 160, 170 kind of wicket, but they've got a lot more than that, even though with the disappointment. Now what can they do? Now can they squeeze? Can they apply the pressure? Can they get the win and keep their hopes alive for another few days or so?
Well, we'll have a look at Punjab's bowling as well because when they started off well. They picked up those early wickets off the openers. And then, like you said, maybe Shreyas missed a trick with the spinner. Yuzi not finishing his quota. He's picked up 4 wickets, but he didn't finish his quota. Harpreet Brar was on the expensive side, but he did pick that wicket up. So were you surprised that he didn't go to the spinners more often?
I thought he could have just broken a bit of the rhythm of all that pace on through those sort of mid to later overs until he ended up bowling the second last over with spin. But Arshdeep, we focused on him pre-game. He's impressive. He missed his target a couple of times with a couple of wides where he perhaps could have attacked the stumps when the new batter, Dubé, came in. But no, I'm really impressed with him. I think he is enjoying taking that responsibility. So, yeah, I think both teams could probably say there's opportunities on reflection that we should have done a little bit better or made better choices in certain moments.
And also 16 extras, those bite when you're playing a T20 game. 16 extras are way too many extras.
Yeah, I mean, they had 2 overs where the fielders had to stay in, and that was contributed to by the extra deliveries that they had to bowl and the extra views we had to sit and watch. As everything, every second delivery looked like it was being sent upstairs at one stage. Yeah, you understand why it happens because they want to try and live on the edge, and when the batter's set, they try and go as far away from him as possibly can be, and that brings the wide line into play. But last night we saw how those extras cost, so they'll be hoping that it doesn't cost him today.
Well, Yuzi is going to be a very happy man. We spoke about him briefly, but just coming and seeing him doing this again, he did it against KKR. Yet again, he comes in, doesn't finish his 4 overs, but picks up those 4 wickets. He was pretty expensive in his first 2, but when you talk about a comeback, what a fantastic comeback it was in his 3rd over. Yeah,
it was fun to watch. Yeah, his second hat-trick in this tournament. I think 2022 was his previous one. So, he's such a likeable, lovable character. Often he's delivering with a smile on his face, so that enlightens the mood for everyone around. But skills, and there's no reason why he might not have been able to contribute like that, attacking the stumps, which a lot of the spinners, successful spinners, are starting to now, particularly at the back end of the tournament, just get it straight at the stumps, challenge the batter and say, like he did to MS, okay, he got me away once, but you've got to do it and hit it perfectly a few times if that's going to be your approach. So, I think the tournament's highest ever wicket taker, is that right? He sits atop the tree, doesn't he? So that's good reason. That's the reason why he is.
He was actually at Mumbai when I was there, and he couldn't get a gig. We had Harbhajan and Oja and all those kind of guys. But every time in the nets, it was an interesting thing is that we used to always notice how many times people would try and hammer him. I mean, he's a short guy, and he sometimes gives it some air as a leg spinner, but they often hit it straight up in the air. And we probably should have got him in a little bit earlier, considering how he's run for the rest of his career. But he's always had that knack just to deceive people somehow in the length that it's going to get to you at and make them make mistakes, and they did it again tonight.
So is it more with the length and pace that he varies things around? Because like I said, against KKR, he did the same thing. And even today, he knows that matchup against MSG. He's gotten him 4 times. Yeah. And he knows it's the 19th over. He knows that the batters are going to attack him. But he just seems so calm and composed to pick up 4 wickets in an over.
Yeah, I think it's got to do something with his heart, is that when it comes out, everyone thinks it's air, and then they can maybe go after it where maybe it isn't. Just the nature of the way he delivers it. And he's learned his little lines from over the years. You often see him bowl a little slow leggy way outside by the wide line, and people try and take him up and hit him in the air. And I mean, if you think of how well he did on what's been the hardest ground to bowl over the years when he was at RCB, I mean, I'm still shocked every time I think about it that they let him go at any stage, because he was the one spinner who went there on the hardest ground to bowl, altitude, small boundaries, and he was successful. So he knows his art. He had a year or two where he just lost a little bit of confidence. Yeah. I think once he was left out of the Indian side, but he seems to have bounced back nicely now.
I thought he looked a bit frustrated even when he got his first or second wicket in his final, what was his final over. I thought he looked had a little bit of a look on his face that maybe he felt he should have been making an impact in that game earlier.
Well, he has certainly made an impact in this game, which is why that CSK batting card looks like that towards the end, because Yuzvendra Chahal picked up 4 wickets and there was that crumble towards the end. The standout, of course, being Sam Curran with 88. And Polly, how impressed were you with Baby AB?
Yeah, 2 back-to-back performances, so he'll be very happy with that. And it came at an important time when they'd lost those 3 wickets. They needed someone, particularly with the history of how they've gone this season. So good job from him.
So Prabh Simran and Priyansh are both in now to open. We know how hard they go, how they attack. They remind me a lot of what you've done to us when I was younger. But they always go for the attack. 190, that's what the strategy is going to be for them?
Yeah, and the pitch looks like it's coming on quite nicely. It doesn't seem to be one that's dried out and broken up in little pieces. It's got a bit of a sheen on it, so I suspect that new ball's going to come on pretty nicely. That's the challenge for the CSK bowlers, pace off, what they can do, field positioning, but I think it'll be an exciting chase, and albeit it was a washed out game, that last hit out, but they did get to 200 against KKR, and it was much to the work of the 2 at the top of the order, so they'll be full of confidence and would have been thinking about this next innings. That might be to their detriment. They played so well, and it was all in vain. It was an opportunity taken away from them.
All in rain? Or
all because of rain, in vain. That's right.
So what score are you getting?
Wordplay.
So we're going to the scores now?
6? Yeah.
Well, it's a dot ball, the first ball.
Oh, all right.
First
I'll
2 balls are dot balls.
All right, I'm going to go.
Not that it helps much, but...
I'll go 57. I'm going to say they're going to be having a good crack.
That was what I was going to go.
You can go with exactly that.
Let's double it up.
Yeah,
come on.
It's got to be 57.
That's right.
Come on, we've got to believe.
So 57 for both of you.
You go 57 as well.
You'll have both eaten risotto, you'll have both gone with 57.
Yes, that's right. It all comes in 3s.
It all comes together.
So we'll both get a bullseye.
And there's been a hat-trick tonight, so it comes in 3s.
There's a 4 of the third ball, and he changes.
How long,
No, we're looking
how long
good.
do you want
And
to
he
wait?
changes. Well,
You
GK
do
waited
the
for 2
GK.
overs.
Yeah.
That's what he did downstairs. He just went on chatting about his childhood,
He went
about
into the
his
second
favorite
over so you could
food.
get a good feel of where they were going.
This was at one of those rained out. The power play was just 4 overs, and he went
He
on
went for 2
chatting.
overs.
Just went on chatting. But anyway, 57 for Polly and Gilly. I'm going to go with 61. I'm going to go a little higher, but close by.
Yeah,
Very
that's
close.
good. In good territory.
We keep our fingers crossed. We know that Polly's won this fair and square with 187, hasn't he?
Exactly.
Well, we can't. We are too straight. We can't cheat. It was his thought that it should be
Yes.
187, but it was. It's at the 10 point of the Cricbuzz combox. Thank you so much for watching Voltas presents Cricbuzz Live.
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೇ
Hyderabad Punjab Express Saiyami Station, Netaji Bhavan.